what motivated you to join the NTL OD certificate programme?
I was looking for a course where it would be very experiential, with high calibre people on the course, but without pointless academic hoop jumping.
I was at a point in my career where I'd done loads of individual learning, loads of teamwork, and I knew there was something else. I didn't know what it was. I happened to meet an amazing lady who said, what you're looking for is OD, and that being Mee-Yan. And she helped explain that was looking at systems. So with that knowledge, I started looking around who was offering a great programme. And as Mee-Yan had put one together, I thought this is the place to go and learn it. So that's how I got introduced to NTL, and that's why I signed up on that programme.
A couple of things. I had three people that I really valued completed cohort 1, and independently, I didn't even know they knew each other, through that programme had recommended the programme to me. And there was something for me about doing something around OD as well to get the underpinning principles, so understanding the theory and pulling that together under one qualification.
I think I was looking for an opportunity to kind of explore myself as an OD practitioner, and I had looked at some academic, quite theoretical courses, and what really attracted me to this course was there was an element about exploring yourself and finding. I remember having the conversation with Mee-Yan and talking about finding my edges, so I wanted a course that was going to help me find my edges, and from reading about this course, this was the one for me.
Okay, well, I recently joined HR and had a full OD position, and what I was really looking for was some qualification and some theory and knowledge and tools and experience to really back up what I was going to need to deliver in my new role. And I was attracted to the OD programme because it seemed to be very experiential, and I felt it would give me the knowledge that I needed but also give me some practice.
And did the experience match your expectations?
It really massively exceeded it. I was stretched much more than I thought I was going to be.
Okay.
I was supported. I learnt so much from the other participants. The trainers were great.
Yeah, absolutely. But in a way that I probably didn't expect. So I think it felt a really safe place to experiment and really go and do some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think you could even do. So for me, that was the real power of the course. There were some great tools and some great things that I learned, but it was the safety to really go and explore some of those edges that I really appreciated.
Oh yeah, well, it actually far exceeded my expectations. So I suppose what I hadn't realised is that I'd also get the opportunity to meet a whole network of other people in the same field. It meant that I could bring along things that I was working on in my day-to-day job. I could actually get experience and practice and get input from all those people to really help me with work as well. So yeah, so it's fantastic.
It exceeded it, as I think it did for most of the people that, well, everyone I've spoken to. In terms of how it exceeded it, for me, I went into it thinking it was an OD programme. What I hadn't really appreciated was the personal development journey that I personally would experience as a result of undertaking and being part of the programme.
I realised my expectations were totally blown out the window. I got in there thinking I was going to learn loads of new principles and loads of new techniques that I could do on my clients. And when instead what I learnt was actually so much more about me. So it blew my expectations out the water, exceeded it massively to a really good point.
And what's been the key learning that's impacted your practice? I think the biggest learning was about myself as an instrument in OD, but also how that could then impact in a system, and how you could then think about that system and think about helping that system. And finding really practical ways to do that, because you can talk about it in theory, but the course really gave you some practical ways in which you could really do that.
It was, well, it is very much for me looking at the system as a whole, considering the individual. I mean, working in business, I'm not an independent, but working in business, so it impacts on how I evaluate programmes that I commission. It gets me thinking about the wider system, so it just feels very pertinent. It's It's also down at an individual level as well. When I go into a meeting, actually how you present yourself, thinking through what you say, that you are actually an instrument, a tool yourself, and the impact you have even if you say nothing. So in many, many ways, at many, many levels, it has a significant impact.
That you carry on learning.
Okay.
So I really learnt something about continuing to learn, being part of a network and a learning community.
That I am the OD tool.
Okay.
It is about using self in every part of what you do, in any system and anything you're working on, rather than just the technique you're applying. It's who is applying that technique, and really understanding where that client is, rather than just saying I want to do this to them. It's what is it they need and what's going to add the most value.
So I think it's made me much more confident and overtly understand some of the things that I instinctively did before, which again is really useful if you're trying to educate and inform others in the organisation. So I think it's helped me influence better as well. And I think that's all added to really improving my practice.
Okay. And what would you say to those considering joining the course?
I would say get on board. There's a great community of people who've been through the programme, and I have met quite a few of the cohorts and no one has said they regretted doing it. So I would say take a risk, try it out, and be prepared to experience a whole new level of learning.
I'd say do it, prioritise it. It won't just change your working life, it will change your whole life, and you'll be glad you did.
So I would definitely say go and do it. It might seem like a big time commitment and a big, you know, there's an expense associated with that, but it really is well worth it because again, you're getting your own personal development as well as actually helping you with your day-to-day job as well.
I would say do it. I would say it's an experiential programme. It's not an academic qualification, whilst there's lots of theory in there. And you have to participate, you have to experience it and go into it with that expectation in mind.
I would say it is the most amazing roller coaster ride, and you need to be prepared to do work on yourself as well as learn the academic theory stuff, because if you only come and absorb the academic theory, you will have missed an enormous amount. So you have to be prepared to do that work on yourself.